It is such a joy and delight to welcome you all to the Financial Wellness Blueprint. My name is Fumi Fatono Ayowole. I care about your wellness in all parts of your life, your money, your mind, your health, your body, every part of it. But because I am also a licensed financial advisor as well as a mental health coach, the two worlds collide, and it is my joy to be able to bring in really, really big, well, I call them big, I would say really heavyweight people into the room today to discuss your money, your mindset, wealth, protection, all those things, because I find that when money is not right, people can be a little anxious, people can be a little worried, and so on and so forth. And so it affects every part of their lives. So I'm really excited to have you here. As I said earlier, my name is Fumi Fatono Ayowole for the people that do not know me. Welcome to everyone. I will just give another 30 to 60 seconds before I officially start. While we are waiting for people to join in, I'm expecting at least 50 people on the call today because that's the number of people that registered for today's blueprint. I am expecting that we will receive or we will pull out so many nuggets, important things that will be helpful, beneficial to your financial wellness. In terms of housekeeping, I would love for everyone, unless you are speaking towards the question and answer section at the end, please keep your mics muted. And we will have that special question and answer section at the very, well, maybe not at the very end, somewhere towards the end. When you do have questions, please help us hold on to them, like store them in a cooler so that we're able to get through all the frameworks and beneficial tips and tricks that we're going to be sharing with you. We'll get through all of that. We will have our interactive session and we'll be able to answer your questions. So, with me, I have some really, really amazing people. Yes. So we have Lola Wealth. Her full government name is Omolola Oyewumi. I have her here with me. I'm going to spotlight her. I also have Paul Adeyeye, and he also is here with me. Lola lives in Houston, Texas. Well, Houston, Dallas. I got it. She lives in Dallas, Texas, while Paul lives in Ottawa in Canada. And I live somewhere around Toronto in Canada, maybe about 2 to 3 hours around the city of Toronto. Okay, so I'm spotlighting my friends. I'm spotlighting my friends. All right. Fantastic, fantastic. Um, Lola and Paul, please, could you tell me what you ate for your Sunday brunch or lunch today? That's our first icebreaker conversation or icebreaker topic. I know you weren't expecting that.
All right. No, no, no. I wasn't. Everyone good. Good afternoon. What I ate today, I took coffee, took off 2 cups of coffee and some snacks. So yeah,
Okay.
like cookies.
Cookies and coffee. My sister, I need to come and enter your DM with regards to this our healthy living. But thank you so much for sharing and sharing honestly. Thank you. Paul, what did you eat for Sunday lunch?
Well, hello everyone. In my case, I'm not close to Lola at all. So I had a very heavy lunch. No, know what you're thinking. So yesterday was my son's birthday, and we have a
Okay.
tradition to go to like a big restaurant. So he decided that he wanted to go to one restaurant. We went there and I had burger. It was a new restaurant. So to be safe, I would just say, let me have burger. So it was a very giant burger. And the Lord will help me to deliver this particular webinar.
So we need to ship the coffee from Lola's house to your house so that you will stay awake. Isn't that right?
Yes,
don't you
please.
allow them to?
Okay, please, if you are not speaking, that is, if you're not Lola or Paul or Fumi, please stay muted. Thank you so much. In terms of housekeeping rules, like I said, please stay muted, but we are really, really happy to have so many of you here. We know that more people will join as time goes on. So in the chat, no, I'm not going to ask you what you had for your Sunday lunch or brunch, but I would love to know where you're joining us from, what city you are joining us from, and when you did register to join today's webinar, what were you thinking? I know that may sound weird. I mean, like, what was your what was your aim? What did you hope to get from this webinar today? For the next maybe 90 minutes of your time, what are you hoping to gain from listening to us, me, Paul, Lola, chat up and down about money and mindset? What were you thinking to what were you hoping to gain? Thank you so much to those that are already typing in the chat. It's really, really good to have you guys. Thank you for the interactions. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm joining from around Toronto, Canada. Lola is here from Dallas, Texas. Paul is here from Ottawa, Canada. I see some people from Houston, from Maryland, USA. Joey says that she's open-minded and ready to learn. Beautiful. Thank you. Hello, Adeshola. She says she's here from the UK. Amazing. It must be late on your side, but thank you so much for joining us. She says she's here with an open mind to strengthen her financial wellness journey. I love it. Adiola says that she's here from Houston. Thank you, Adeshola. So Adiola is here from Houston. She joined to learn and to get informed. Fantastic. Any other person? We have quite a number of us in the room. Would love to know where you're joining us from and what your aim was when you or what you aim to benefit from today's webinar. Okay, hello, Mr. Benson Amun. You would love to gain some financial literacy, and you're here from Milton, Ontario. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Esther from CO. CO is CO Colorado, for example. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, Colorado, fantastic. It's really, really good to have you here. Hello, Adaoma. Thank you very much for being here. You said you joined to learn how to build wealth. Gideon says to learn from your shared financial experiences. This is really good. It's a really good highlight because Paul comes with his own flavor, Lola comes with her fire, and Fumi comes with her wellness. It's combustive. So you guys are in for a really, really good ride for the next 90 or so minutes. Hello, Ibukun. Thank you very much for joining. I'm really excited to have you. You're here from North Dakota. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for joining. Thank you to everyone who will comment. And I'm really excited for us to do this together. So you see, financial wellness is more than just income. In fact, I believe that a lot of us we're here because we recognize this, that financial wellness is more than just how much you are making on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis or, on a bi-weekly basis. Financial wellness is really all the various components that make up your mindset about money, all the various components that make up how you use money, how you spend money, how you save money, how you invest money, how you protect your money, the kinds of things that you say about money, the kinds of things that you think about money is very, very important, and that's one of the reasons, or a major reason, why we are here today. In fact, today I would love to be able to introduce these my darling speakers. So I'm going to do that really, really quickly. I'm going to introduce my speakers so that you know that I didn't come to play in today's webinar. In fact, I'm here with the best of the best, and so that you guys can get that get various perspectives when it comes to financial wellness. So let's talk about Omolola Oyewumi. Omolola Oyewumi, otherwise known as Lola Wealth, is actually a friend and a sister of mine. But other than that, I regard her as an expert. She is the fired up queen. She helps six-figure earners build wealth systems so that they can exit corporate in 3 to 5 years. She's very like methodical when she coaches you. If you were in corporate or are in corporate, she will help you build systems so that you can exit corporate in within 3 to 5 years. She can help people do that because she has done it herself. So I'm incredibly honored that Lola is here with me on today's journey. Paul is my brother. Paul is my brother from another mother, for real. We've known each other for a while. And our families are now like family friends in that sense. Paul is an award-winning author. He's a financial educator. He's an advocate for immigrant financial empowerment. I don't know if any of you watch Paul on YouTube. He has a podcast and he tells immigrant stories. He helps people. He helps all of us, because a lot of us are immigrants, but he helps us to understand our financial pathways. And so he delivers great content on YouTube, on socials. I'm really, really excited to have Paul here. Both of them are experts in their own rights. And in fact, they are senior marketing directors in their organizations. So I'm really, really excited for today. Today, we're going to explore the beliefs and the habits that shape our financial decisions. We're going to learn about building wealth with intention and purpose. We're going to learn about creating a path towards our financial independence and protecting what matters the most. Today is not about pressure or products. We're not selling any product to you. And today is definitely not about perfection, because all of us are work in progress. Today is about education, about awareness, and equipping ourselves to make informed decisions. How are we feeling about that? I want to see in the chat if we are ready to go. I want to see in the chat if we're ready to go. I am ready to go. I am expectant. I love that. I am expectant myself and I am ready to go. Okay, so I would love to begin with a simple but important idea. A lot of financial conversations focus on money, but before we even make a financial decision, there is a mindset that makes that decision. Before we invest, before we save, before we spend, or before we plan, there is a belief. What is your belief about money? There is usually a story that is running in the back of your head. There is a habit, some routines that you have with your money at the end of every month. There could even be a fear about money, the lack of it, or a lot of it, or too much of it. And there is a value you place on money and people that you think have money or people that you think do not have money. That is why I believe that financial wellness starts long before we start thinking or looking at bank accounts. It starts in your mind. As an emotional wellness coach, one thing I have observed over the years is that financial stress is one of the most unspoken but rampant forms of stress. I wonder if you guys heard me, and I wonder if you guys agree. Financial stress is one of the most unspoken but the most rampant forms of stress. A lot of the times it is unspoken because we've been taught not to talk about how much we earn, how much we make, how much we are broke, how much we are not broke. In fact, earlier today on Instagram, I saw this person. I follow him I follow him. He always has comments about something and he's always mixing tea or drink. Sorry, please. Sorry, I had to. So this person on Instagram was talking about how there are levels of brokenness. He said, "Oh, I'm broke in the sense that I can pay for the coffee, but I cannot pay for the whole tab." Or I'm not in a Rolls Royce yet, but at least I can afford to pay all my bills and be comfortable. It's almost like there are levels of brokenness. So I wonder what you guys think when we talk about money, because people will not tell you when they are worried about money. I have noticed it because you will see it in their anxiety. In fact, I'm going to put myself in that same category because we are all work in progress. You see, when we are worried about money, you see it in our anxiety, you see it in our sleeplessness, you see it in our indecisions, and a sense of overwhelm. Money affects relationships like crazy. Have you ever lent, that is, how we say, borrowed, but have you ever lent someone money and the person has not paid back 2 months, 3 months, but you see the person spending? You see the person enjoying their lives. You see the person, or the person is not even picking up your call. But before they borrowed that money, they were your besties, right? Money affects relationships. Money affects marriages. It's the second most important factor in a marriage, in either a marriage or like a life partnership. Marriage is, money, I mean, is so important in relationships. It's truly, truly one of the most important
Sorry,
factors.
Fumi, what is
Yes,
the
sir.
first? What's the first important factor? Since
I
we're here
think
to
it's
learn.
I I think it's communication.
Hmm. Money affects communication.
Hmm. Mr. Paul has brought on. So that means money is the first.
I want to believe so, but you can
Aha.
go on.
Love it. Love it. So the point, Sha, is that money affects everything. And our mindset about money affects everything that affects everything. Yeah? My co-hosts are nodding so they understand. Financial stress affects your emotional well-being, and then your emotional well-being affects your financial decisions. The two are so connected. I would love to hear from all of us here. You can drop one word in the chat. When you think about money, what emotion comes up most often? I would love to hear when you think about money, just think about like the dollar sign, the dollar sign. What emotion comes up for you? My co-host can unmute. However, others, please can you drop it in the chat? Is it peace? Is it confusion? Is it like the math is not mathing? Is it like fear? Is it some
I
pressure?
like
What word comes up for you when you think about money?
I like to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
So
We're
for
here.
me, every time I hear money or every time I hear, that word, abundance, it comes from comfort. All in my head is comfort, right? So when I hear money, it's either I am pursuing comfort or I would like to pursue comfort, or I am enjoying the money because of comfort, or I have this comfort because I have the money. So my mindset is always comfort.
Mm,
That's for me.
yeah, that's why you're called Lola Wealth, ma. Anyone else? Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? What comes to your mind when you think about money? Please feel free to be honest with us. Is it peace? Is it pressure? Is it comfort? Is it confusion? Is it hope? Is there a pressure? I'm wondering, some people when they think about their bills, pressure tiwa. Sorry, some of us may not be Nigerian, so you may not understand what I mean, but there's pressure, right? So I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat. Gideon says freedom. When he thinks about money, thank you so much for being here. You think freedom. Thank you so much for Margaret. Okay. Bolanle says the fear that money isn't enough. That is very, very important. That's a very valid way that you have shared with us. Thank you so much. Okay. Paul says money. When he thinks of money, he thinks of it as a tool. What is fascinating is that many of us were never taught how to think about money. Many of us inherited our financial beliefs. That brings me to my first question for Lola and Paul. Growing up, what was one money message, one money belief or story or narrative that you inherited from your family or your culture that later shaped the way you dealt with money? Please, I would love to hear from you guys. Paul, you want to go first?
Oh, wow. I can continue talking about what I learned about money growing up, because I grew up in a very modest, I came from a modest background, and my parents are educated. I didn't want to use the word were because they're still alive. They're educated. My mom is a retired principal. My dad was an engineer. But at some point, things just turned for my dad. He lost his job. And like play, if I can speak Nigerian English, like play, he just didn't get it anymore. And he lost it at his prime. I was going to start secondary school, and I'm not the last born. So you can imagine the kind of pressure he was going through. And he didn't get anything else. We just managed and we survived like that. So I've lived in a very modest background, for lack of better word. I don't want to use the word poor, but growing up, that message of they didn't even need to tell me that money was a problem. I could see it, that money was a problem. I remember when my mom enrolled me for a private school in SS2. And she said to me, she said, when I came to Lagos, I was a maid. I was a maid, and even as a maid, my my guardian could send me to a private school as far back as the 70s when I came to Lagos. And I just feel like you should have a taste of what private school looks like. I don't want you to complete this entire secondary school education without having a taste of private school. And because she too, she's a teacher, she was like, I just get to have a taste of private school. Now, when she enrolled me to that private school, that led to what I would call class suicide because she couldn't afford it. She couldn't afford that private school. She struggled to pay for my school fees. And if there were only 3 people they would call for school fees, of course, I would top the list. We were 3, we know ourselves. I won't mention the other people's there. I don't know where they are right now. So I don't, and I grew up with that mindset, but something changed because the moment I became an adult, I would say I was lucky. I completed my university education. God showed me mercy. I found a good job. But that has been my drive that I must work hard to provide for my family. So for someone like me, and I know maybe some people can relate to my story, there's a chance that you will think that you don't deserve to be rich, or coming from a poor or modest background, the rich ones are just fraudulent people. Looking at the kind of movies that we also see, how our culture makes it look like there's no way you can just be rich righteously. You must have done some things to make you rich. And for someone like me, that I grew up in a family where my father was educated, my mother was educated, they did everything they could do, but they still couldn't really provide for us. So it could affect your mindset, making it look like there's no way you can make it and be able to provide for yourself by just working hard. But that is not true. That is where mindset comes in. That is not true. You can inherit those mindsets, but at some point you will grow up and decide to create your own mindset. Do you want to have an abundance mindset, or you want to inherit the scarcity mindset that you grew up in? And on the flip side, if you are lucky enough to come out from a very rich home, you may think things will always come to you. It's not always true. There's a point that you get to in life that the wealth of your family may not be sufficient. So it's good to just be in the middle, try to have the balance, not like you go with the scarcity mindset or you become so lavish going with the abundance mindset. But regardless of where you're coming from, you need to understand that things can be different. So it's good to have an abundance mindset. It's good to have come from an abundance, but you don't want to be so carefree and not understand that if you don't learn how to manage that abundance, even with your abundance mindset, you might find yourself in a scarcity mode.
Scarcity. So good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to people interacting in the chat. Thank you so much, Lola. Can you tell me one thing or one mindset that you may have inherited from your family or culture while you were growing up?
Mhm. Thank you. So, thoughts, it is whatsoever you want or whatsoever you desire, your hands can produce the wealth you want, right? And the reason why I say that is because, and I'm going to share my own story in less than 1 minute, when I am the third born and my mom decided to have their last baby, and guess what? It turned out to be three boys and made us to be six. And it was during the time of Abacha, that regime. Yes, so it made us to be six. And my mom is a teacher, my dad is a teacher. And things were very tough for us. But because of, right from when I was very small, I started reading books, right? And I know, even my mom will always tell us, so we have to like improvise whatsoever you need, right? In Yoruba, they say, "Atelier ni kintonije." That is the mindset I grew up with. Like I don't know how to translate it. Like the hard work is in your hands, something like that. Like whatsoever you need, whatsoever you want, you will get it. So that was how I grew up. So me completing my secondary school, just like Paul said, I had to sell some things. Go in the morning, I'll go to school. In the evening, I'll go work so that I can pay for my English class, oral English, and all of those maths classes. And that was how I did it, did jump and enter school. So there wasn't any excuse for me not to go to school. And of course, the attention shifted from me to my little ones, or to my siblings, and that was how I became very independent from while I was small. So that mindset had always be, if you need anything, go and work with your hands and you will get it. So that was what I grew up with.
Wow, wow, that is a powerful story. I didn't actually know this about you. Thank you so much for sharing. Paul, you wanted to say something?
No, I'm just admiring her as a sister of triplets.
Yeah, yeah. Like one turned to three. You now became like elder sister to three boys, girls, mixed.
Three boys.
Three boys. Wow, wow, amazing. But thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. For me, I think growing up, I had a bit of a mixed background. There was a season where things weren't so great. There was a season where we were in private schools, we lived in VI or in Ikoyi, and everything seemed to be all right in our secondary school. But there was actually a season where my dad, God bless his memory, he actually was thrown in jail for a particular season, about 4 to 5 months. My mom was the only breadwinner at that point, and we used to visit my dad in jail for something that they believed, like a financial crime. They believed that his bank or the people he was associated with committed. So I remember that time so vividly, and how my mom, God also rest her soul, she used to say that, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, because she was doing everything she could to help us maintain the lifestyle that my dad had already created for all of us. So I remember this. And so I'm wondering, you guys, in terms of what mindset you had, but the one mindset I often see is what I call survival thinking. When people are constantly worried about not having enough, then they become trapped in short-term decision making. That is, they are making decisions just for the next 1 day, or the next 1 week, or the next 1 month, or even 1 year, when we are constantly worried about not having enough. And that leads me to an important distinction, and some of us have mentioned it: scarcity versus stewardship. Scarcity versus stewardship. And it's not like scarcity versus abundance in that sense. Scarcity asks, what if I lose everything? While stewardship asks, how do I wisely manage what I have been given or what I have earned? So, I have a question for Lola. In your work, helping people to pursue financial independence, how do you see scarcity thinking holding people back? What have you observed?
You know, thank you for that question. It happens to a lot of all of us. It happens to all of us, right? Especially when you are an employee. What you said right now concerning that survival, you call it survival mindset? I was trying to write
Yes,
it down.
scarcity mindset, like where,
Not
yeah.
scarcity, survival
Oh, okay,
mind,
survival thinking. That's
survival,
survival.
yes,
Yes,
survival
survival
thinking,
thinking. Yes.
right? It's just what it is. We are human, right? And what we have, we don't want it to go and then we hold on to it. It happens to a lot of us. But you know what the difference is the intentionality. And then because for people of faith, right, we add other elements to it. Just like I said, faith, hope, we put in the work, we think of other things. But when it comes to the people that I help, you know how I help them? I help them expand their dreams. So the context of fire, for people that know about fire movement, I'm the fired up queen, as you can see, fire queen. Fire means financial independence, retire early. So do you know there is something called fire? Yes, there is here in US. So my goal and my calling is to bring fire and take it out of US into other part of the world. What fire will teach you is have a small life, stringent life, right? Feed on noodles and rice and beans now so that you can live life in the future. Save 60%, 70%, 80% of your money. That is the real definition of fire. You know how, when I was in corporate, when I started hearing about fire, I invested, I leaned in, I invested in it. I bought books on fire. I reached out to fire grandfathers on LinkedIn. Guess what? They accepted me. I, chatted them. This is one of them, playing with fire, right? I have fire for dummies. If you don't know how to start, you want to start, how do you start? Fire for dummies. I went into it. You know what I discovered? And as a person of faith, I now turned that fire into purposeful fire because my goal is live right now and then live in the future. How do we
I
do
was
that?
trying to ask you, yes, how
With
does it, how is it different from a scarcity thinking?
So
Because if you
how do we
want to
do that?
stay where,
Yes,
yeah,
it's because you have a budget. You have this income that is not enough for you. What will now help you do is when you enlarge your thinking, you want to know? It's by establishing other streams of income.
gotcha,
Do you see?
gotcha.
Establishing, and I will tell you 5 things quickly. The first income stream that you already are right now is your active income. That is you clocking in, clocking out. You already have that. You're already doing that work, extra shift. You're already earning. That is active. You might even be renting your genius to your employer. But guess what? That is paying you, is paying your bills right now. The second stream, which is the easiest and you can quickly today, you can start to, explore that, is your skill-based income. That is how I help. Some of us, we know it, some of us, we don't. And some of us, we even have that skill, but it's dormant. What I help you do with test, right? This test, personality test, Clifton Strengths test, we bring it out. And then we sharpen that skill, package it for you, take it to the marketplace. You started to earn. You earning additional money, right?
That's
Because
number two.
remember this, say that again.
That's number two. You
Yeah,
were giving us 5 things. That's number
yeah.
two.
Come on. Okay. So you thinking of that scarcity is because that income is not even enough. And some of us, our story is like that today. Because if you look at what is income, before it even comes, it has finished. So the goal is because we have that abundance or stewardship mindset, now let us establish the second stream. The third stream is asset-based. No, not asset-based. Before I get to asset-based, the third stream is, let me just say asset-based income. But the asset-based income, that one is more involved in you putting in a lot of money in terms of real estate, in terms of other part or other big
Assets.
stuff like let me check my note because I
Okay.
really want you. Ah,
We'll come back. We'll come back to you. I want to ask Paul a question. Come back to you and we'll ask you to please explain in brief the five streams of income. We'll come back to you. Paul, I have a question for you while Lola is checking her notes. How do you help families move from fear-based financial decisions to more intentional planning? Remember, we're thinking about scarcity thinking, which is what I have said I have observed even as a wellness coach with people because of there's so much financial stress and there's a lot of scarcity thinking. Now, I'm asking you because you're really, really good at protection. I'm asking how do you help families move from fear-based financial decisions to more intentional planning?
Yeah, good one. So in a country like Canada, I'm going to speak from my Canadian experience. Canada is one of those countries where even when you are not here, your bills are still waiting for you. So every day you wake up, your bills are saying good morning. As you go to bed, your bills don't even sleep. So that's
God
enough.
help us.
That can be enough stress for people. And most families have that fear of what's going to happen if I lose my job? What's going to happen if I'm no longer here? Interestingly, most people don't even think about that until I start that conversation with them. Now, one of the ways I help people is the first thing we talk about is emergency fund. Emergency fund is very important in North America because emergencies will happen. It is not about if, it's about when. And when it happens, how do you intend to manage it? Emergency fund is saving I don't think 3 months make any sense at this current climb. Maybe 6 months to 12 months of your expense, what you normally spend in a month. Now, that said, some people may not be able to achieve that in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, but it's always good to have something set aside in case an emergency happens. The other thing is insurance protection. And when I talk about insurance, I want people to see it as a risk management tool because your wealth building strategy is incomplete if you cannot protect what is really important. And your biggest asset is the ability to make money. Your biggest asset is the ability to make money.
So I am my biggest asset.
You are your biggest asset.
Gotcha.
So you have to protect that potential of making money. Nobody can insure anyone. Nobody can insure your life. What they're just trying to do is if you've got dependent, you want to protect that potential of making income. So when I talk about insurance, I'm talking about critical illness insurance, disability insurance, and life insurance. For everyone listening to me now, just imagine you wake up tomorrow and you try to lift your arm and it's not lifting, and you're unable to go to work. Now, these things, we see them. It happens real life.
My brother, please, I don't want to imagine that one. No. Sorry.
Okay,
Please, I can lift my hand
it's
and I will be
gonna
able to lift my hand
it will
tomorrow
continue
morning.
lifting
Amen.
in Jesus' name. But life happens even to good people. It happens to even people who pray. And when we come to this country, we come to build wealth. We are really excited. We want to hit the ground running. One of the things that we don't understand or we don't recognize is some of us have lost our safety net. We don't even have any safety net. So we can't compare ourselves with the Canadians, the Americans. You have left your home country. The people you left back home, they have so many expectations. You also want to fulfill those expectations. You also want to take care of yourself. Now, we work twice as hard to make the money. Some of us, we've already gotten to a level in our career that if we didn't leave the country, we will be fine for the rest of our lives. But we just decided to take that challenge to come here. So, as a thoughtful person, you want to protect what matters most to you. So, get critical illness insurance. In case something happens to you, you can use that to get money back. Get disability insurance. People who get disabled, they are not sinners. People get disabled. So you want to ensure that if that happens, you are not completely stranded because your bills will not wait for you to recover. And when life happens too, you want to have life insurance in place. I'm going to tell you a story quickly before I let Fumi take over. So something happened to me about 3 years ago. I was flying to Texas and I had the toughest turbulence in my life. Like I've never had such before. So my plane was meant to land in Toronto, and they just announced casually that, oh, something is happening. We may not be able to land, but we'll be fine. So they were saying something like maybe 10 minutes delay. That delay eventually lasted 2 hours, 2 minutes. At some point, the kids were crying in the plane. I picked up my phone because I was just so anxious. I tried to play some gospel. The first song that came was Lonely at the Top by Ashake. I said, at this time, no, 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 no. Let's get me Nathaniel Bassey. It can't be Ashake at this time. So at some point, at that moment, I actually thought that was the end because it was really a scary moment. But because I had things in place, I wasn't so scared. I was sure my kids would be fine. I was sure my wife would be fine. But luckily, I'm still here. So
Hallelujah.
it's really important. So one of the things I help my clients with is understanding why they should save for emergencies,
Mm,
why they should protect what matters to them,
yeah. So that's
critical
intentional
illness,
planning.
intentional planning,
That's
critical
intentional.
illness,
That's so
disability
good. That's so
insurance,
good. Well done.
life insurance,
Well done.
and emergency fund is very important because some people lose their jobs.
Yeah.
But because they don't have safety nets, they end up taking jobs that are not meant to take. Every time job loss happens, as far as I'm concerned, it's giving you a space to rethink, to re-strategize. But
Mm.
you can only do that when you have something to pay
Like a
your
buffer.
bills, like a buffer.
Yeah, like a buffer. That's very, very true. I mean, for me, I've had a number of emergencies. I have lost my job twice here in Canada. Like I've lost 9 to 5 jobs here in Canada twice. I also have experienced like emergencies, when the car, I mean, I remember one time driving in Toronto and the car was overheating. My car was overheating, like I was in traffic and somebody knocked on my window and showed me the steam that was coming out of my car in Toronto. Like, and it's not like there's roadside mechanic on one side. Like if you were in Nigeria, there would be a roadside mechanic, but that didn't happen. I had to call CAA. They had to tow my car, and the amount of money to fix it. That was an emergency. I wasn't expecting that on that day in that week I was going to spend that kind of money. Emergencies happen. People's washing machine or dishwasher breaks down, or something happens, the roof is leaking, all kinds of things happen. So, having an emergency fund 3 to 6 to 12 months is very, very important. Thank you very much for highlighting it, especially with regards to um, intentional planning. I I I'm hoping that before we move into the wealth pillar, where Lola Wealth is going to talk to us about the five sources of income, the what I would love to leave with you guys as a thought is financial wellness is not just about what is in your bank account. It's about your relationship with money. Some of us, when I was asking, what are the things that come to your mind when you think about money, whether it's peace or it's comfort or it's fear or it's pressure, what is your relationship with money? Think about that. It's really about awareness and intentionality. It's about you making decisions today that support the future that you want tomorrow. And the one thing I can tell you is that when your mindset shifts, then your behavior shifts. When you start to behave differently, then you can have the kind of financial outcomes that begin to shift as well. Yeah, so we're going to shift into talking about shifts. We're going to shift a bit now into how to move beyond mindset and begin intentionally building wealth and financial independence. So, I'm going to speak with Lola Wealth. I mean, it's her name for a reason. I would love to hear from you because mindset alone is not enough, right? We've spoken about mindset a bit, but it's not enough. We have to move from thinking differently to building differently. And I know that that's where wealth comes in. I think one of the most common misconceptions people have is that wealth and income are the same thing. But you're going to tell us, you're going to help us make that distinction because many people earn good money. Many people even earn excellent money, like what we would call in Nigeria armed robber salaries, right? But they still feel trapped. They still feel anxious. They still are dependent on their next paycheck. So, Lola, let's start there. When you talk about financial independence, what does it actually mean?
Okay. So I would say straight up, financial independence is not just, it's a gap you're filling, right? Most people define financial independence as having a lot of money, right? And numbers, those 000 in your bank account. No, that's wrong. Financial independence is the point at which your asset and your income stream, your system you have built, the moment or the condition in which that sustain your lifestyle without you trading your time for money, without you trading your time for a paycheck.
Please,
That is
ma, can
when,
you help us say it again? Please, ma. Help us say it again.
okay,
We
a
are
true
taking notes.
financial independence for people that are writing. A true financial independence is when, or say, is a point at which, the condition at which your assets, meaning your house, your ETFs, your bonds, stocks, annuities, all of this, your asset you have, even your home, and then all other income streams, like your business, like your intellectual property, your coaching business, all of those things you have. When that can sustain your lifestyle without you clocking in, clocking out, without you being present, right? That is that moment when you have true financial freedom or financial independence. It's about options. Remember this. If you don't remember that big grammar, there is a gap between what you are earning, right? And what you are keeping and what you do with what you are keeping. You have option, right? Anytime you have option to work because you choose to, not because you have to. That is true financial freedom. That is true financial independence. It is a condition. I want you to remember that. Thank you. Thank you for putting it in the chat. So
Fantastic.
whenever
Yes.
income stops, right? Whenever income stops, when you stop, that is you trading your time for paycheck, right? Wealth keeps moving, either you are there or not, either you clock in or clock out. Wealth keeps moving. You know what corporation does? They give us money. Your employer give you money. The system you build, what you do with that money, that is what gives you wealth. Just like what Mr. Paul said, sometimes it takes more than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So let me quickly go to how you can, the 5 stream that I
Sources
was
of
talking
income.
about,
Yes, yes.
right? I already talked about the active income. That is your
Number one.
primary earning, what you have right now. And what I want to beg all of you is this. I want you to maximize it. Maximize, optimize. What English again? Use everything. So don't say no be my papa work. I know DDK used to say this a lot. Sorry, I'm bringing DDK into the conversation. Some of you have an attitude like I can't come and kill myself. While I was in corporate, I did it as if, they used to pray one prayer that you will eat the work of your hand. That is how I was doing it. Like somebody is looking at me. When we take our work like that, guess what? Promotion will come. Bonuses will come. When they are doing raises, they will remember you. When they are giving other people 3%, they will give you 5%, 7%. So put in your work because that is what you have right now. Yes, your primary income, that is your active income. The second stream is your skill-based income, this is what I talk about. Monetize what you already have. God gave you. Some of us, we have to pray that God reveal to me that which you have given to my hand. That's what you have given to me because it comes with, it's follow come. It comes with you. And what I said about sharpening that skill is very important as well. Even in the age of AI right now, you can learn anything. You can learn and improve on your skill, right? Within short time. Turn it into consulting. Turn your skill into coaching, freelancing, whatsoever you think about it. Right now, you can start to earn today. So your skill base, that is the first low-hanging fruit, I would say, that you can start right now, polish it, and start to talk to people about it and package it and you earn from it. The third stream, which is what I wanted to remember, is the investment income. Because remember that gap that I talk about, gap between what you are earning and what you are saving. After you earn, guess what? Expenses are going to come. What you do with the remaining, that is what makes that mindset that she was talking about. Now I remember that mindset about you being a wealth builder, because you are not saving what is left. You are making savings the priority. You want to do your emergency fund within 1 year, you will save first. You will automate first. Then you will spend the remaining. When the remaining is not enough, guess what? Go and package your skill. Go and have your second stream of income. So your investment income, money comes from there as well. Money that is working in the market. I talk about stocks. And every time I talk about stock, for some of us here in the US, I talk about REITs, real estate investment trust. That is still the best out of course. We have the top, 10 if you of that. But with dividends, quarterly, monthly, hardly we use it monthly these days because I've been doing my research, but most of them quarterly. So you get dividends. So start small with $50, $200, you can start. Funds, index funds, and all of that. That's investment income. Please automate this so that tell yourself, and the system that I used to talk about is you telling yourself that what comes in, anything whatsoever, no matter what, I put 30% towards savings, towards investment. That 30%, it could be you are earning 5,000 per month. Take 30%, let it be automated. If you are earning 50,000 in a month, guess what? 30% of that, if that is what you choose, let it be going towards. So that is the system. So
It's
the
an
investment
intentional
income.
thing.
The
Yes.
fourth one, asset income, which I talked about, the real estate, the rentals, royalties. You've written a book. Guess what? Money coming in. This is asset that pays you repeatedly, right? And then, of course, the last one, which a lot of people, financial advisor, financial planner, they don't talk about it enough, is called legacy income. How do you love that? You're not thinking about now. You're not thinking about yourself alone, my family and myself and I. You are talking about business equity, right? Life insurance, like Mr. Paul talked about. You cannot, it's just that a lot of us, we are scared about, no matter what, it's not about if, it's about when it's going to happen, because there's one thing that is certain for every one of us, it's death. And even if death did not happen, life happens. In between that, that's why it's talking about the chronic, it's a disability,
Critical,
right?
disability.
So legacy income is important. One of my mentors used to say that even if I want to die, I will not die free. Meaning that I will die, millions will go to my family and the generation of birth, right? So
Gotcha.
generational
Gotcha.
wealth structure, we have to start to put,
Gotcha.
when we are talking about our finances, talking about what I just shared with you right now is called the 5-stream wealth system, which I have in my book, and I'm going to talk about
Love
that later, but
Yeah.
that
I have
is
a
it.
quick question for you. I have a quick question for you. What are some signs that someone will maybe earning well, but not actually building wealth? You know that we have identified now that there's a difference. But what are some signs? If take me, for example, for me is earning wealth, but earning well, but she's not building wealth. What are some signs you would be able to identify in my life?
Okay. Example, you are earning 300,000 per annum, or let me say per month, and you are spending 295,000.
Hmm.
That is not wealth,
No.
right? So it just keep you, because immediately you have more money. What's your question again?
I said, what is a sign? And you've actually answered the question, one sign. You've given us one sign where I'm earning well, but I'm not building wealth.
Okay.
What are some
You are
signs that I'm
earning
earning
well.
well, but I'm not building well? So, first one, as you've answered, is I'm earning that money, but I'm spending it all. I'm not
Yes.
doing anything tangible with it. Yes.
So another sign, yeah, that you are earning. So which goes back to more income does not equate to wealth. You shifting and saying that, which I will tell you, I have this experience firsthand. I decide that I want to get into 6 figure, right? From 80,000 salary to at least 150, right? But you know what happened? And that is what I want to say, that the science, because it's in practicality.
Yes.
Immediately I got that new job. Guess what? It comes with higher responsibility. And I myself, I want to feel, and that is the way it works. You feel into that
Yeah.
status. Now you
Status.
want to change your car. Now you want to change your house. Now you want to do all of those things. So, meaning that the signs that you, and the funniest thing was, I knew, but it was because of, oh, I need to change my environment, which automatically change my expenses. So what the signs that I would say that you are earning and you are not building is because every month you still have to live paycheck to paycheck. You still have
Yes.
to depend that, oh, if they did not, so there is one question I used to, now please, this is the question. How many of us, like right now, if your company call you today, or let's say tomorrow is Monday, and they say that your job is eliminated, not you are fired, though, but your role is no more needed. You are just eliminated. How long could you sustain your current life without panic? That is a sign. So I want you to answer that. If your company calls you and say your role right now, that your 9 to 5 is being eliminated, how long will you survive? That is when you will know if you are building wealth or you are living paycheck to paycheck.
That's food for thought from Lola Wealth. So I want to ask everyone this while you're thinking about what she has said. Reflect on this. If work became optional tomorrow, so that's a little different, financial freedom, financial independence, where she said that your assets and other income streams can sustain your lifestyle. If perhaps you heard that your role was eliminated, just like she asked, and you didn't have to work, what would you do differently? Would you travel? Would you build a business, start a business? Would you spend more time with your family? What does financial freedom mean to you personally? I know we're still on the call. I'm looking at the last comment. It came maybe about 10 minutes ago. I'm wondering, what do you guys think? If you had the choice, if work was optional, what would you do? If money was not an issue and you did not have to work, what would you do with your time? Would you spend more time with family? Would you maybe build a business? Will you go and open up a charity in a village in Honduras or in a village in Ogbomoso somewhere, or like go on evangelism and do all that? Like, what would you do? What would you love to do with your time? Okay, Adama says travel with my family while stewarding a business. Darlene says she would open up a charity. Emmy says he would go on vacation. So these answers are telling us what you would love to do if money is not an issue. These answers are telling us like what financial freedom would mean to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing. Lola, you have worked with many high achieving professionals. You yourself are one. What are the most common wealth building mistakes you see? Can you give us one or two? Doing said she would outsource everything. She would have a chef, she would have a maid, she would have a
No,
driver, she would
yeah,
have a butler. In fact, my son used to ask me that, please,
I
why
love
can't we have a butler? I say, what would this butler do? Say we'll do everything for us, even give us our bath. I'm like, okay, no
Oh
problem.
my goodness. Doyin, you are
So
my girl. I will outsource
outsource
everything.
everything. Yeah. So Lola, talk to me. With high achieving professionals,
Mhm.
what are one or two wealth building mistakes that you have seen happen?
Okay. The number one, now I will spell it out because I already talked about it. The number one mistake is thinking, assuming, you know, that more income is equal to wealth. It's not. That is number one mistake, right? That more income is equals to wealth. It is not. It is not. So immediately you start to see that you are earning well, right? And that equals to, because the earning well is going to fill into the lifestyle. So it's not number one. Then the second thing
Yes.
is I don't have time to establish a second stream of income, or I don't even know what to do. So therefore, we are handicapped, or we cannot do anything, or I cannot do anything. Another mistake people do is this, they think there is a lot of time, or in their head, which is what we are doing right now, helping people rethink that fire or financial independence or financial freedom is for the people who are already there. They're already making money. They're already okay. You can actually retire on your own terms. You can make work optional for yourself just by planning. You do not have to wait until 65 before you start to live. So the mistake a lot of high-earning professionals are making, because they are living paycheck to paycheck, data says it. Research shows that
Shows it.
65% of high earners are living paycheck to paycheck. Do you see? And because of that, they cannot come out of, that is what I'm saying, like if their work stop because they're not clocking in, clocking out, they cannot. So that mistake that I have to work and work and work, we started to, and that is what I'm not, that movement, that fire movement is about. You don't have to wait. So stop making that mistake that you will live a small life now, or live the life right now and continue to work until you are 70. No. Decide, and that decision you can make it today. And this is my crusade. And one of the mistake is come out of that thinking that you have to wait till 65 before you start to live.
That's so
And I
good.
leave you with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Paul, let's bring Paul in. Paul, from your perspective, what are some habits that you have noticed that would distinguish people who build wealth successfully over time? Lola talked to us about some mistakes of people who are earning, but they're not building. Paul, from your perspective, what are some habits that would help people successfully build wealth over time?
Yeah, so I'm going to start by saying thank you to Lola for that well put together session. That was a session on its own. So thank you.
Well, it's a potpourri, it's a buffet for
Yeah.
everyone.
Can you guys just celebrate Lola? You can drop some
Drop some
emojis. Thank you.
emojis. Thank you.
Okay, so about and Lola has answered some of those,
Yes.
like some of the things that help people to build wealth over time is having a budget. And budget is very important because money is you will spend as much as you earn if you don't have budget. So you will think that 50K is not enough for you right now until you start making 100K. You will now realize that you'll be asking yourself, how did you even survive with 50K? That it is I can't even believe it. Then you start making 200K and you'll be looking at people making 100K and you have so much compassion that how are they surviving? And you start making 500K and you will be like, wow, in this economy, some people are making 100K. Wow, I don't even know how they're coping. So you must have a budget. So, and I will quickly talk about the 50-30-20 rule. It may not, I don't want you guys to be very rigid about it, but 50% of your income should go into your essentials, like paying for your rent, your feeding, and all that. Then 30% should be invested. I think Lola mentioned that casually. Then you can use 20% for good life, like that your baby girl life and all that.
Going on
So
your
going on
vacation.
your vacation, taking your spouse for
Mm-hmm.
maybe a date night
Mm-hmm.
and all that. So if you're making 50K in a year, you should be able to work a budget around 50K.
Yeah,
Regardless of how much you make, you must be able to invest something.
that's correct. So that's habit number one, having a
Hab-
budget.
Having a budget,
Yeah.
that is very sacrosanct. And the moment your income increases, let the budget follow. So now you are making 100K. There is nothing wrong about moving to a bigger house if you feel like it will give you some satisfaction and fulfillment. But
Mm.
make sure it's within the new 50% of your new
Mm.
income.
Mm. That's
So
good.
I preach living good life now and living a better life in the future.
Mm. I
Because think about it, that future you're planning for, may the Lord take you there. What if you save all your money and you don't eventually get to that future? That would not be a good life. You get to heaven, you shake your head that, oh, and I left a lot of
And they left
money.
a lot of money. I did not enjoy it.
I
I
did not
get you.
enjoy it.
I get you. I get you.
Imagine you
Oh.
decide not to fly on it for a trip
Mm.
and you use the road and you die in a car crash.
Ah, no, no,
You
no.
get to
Okay,
heaven,
yeah, yeah. Let's stop. Let's stop.
you get to heaven, you now be like, I should have used that my money to fly. So you want to enjoy your life now and live a better life in the future.
So good.
So as your income increases, let your investment increase. Let your You may decide to also increase your lifestyle,
Mm.
but try to avoid lifestyle creep. Make sure you invest as your income grows.
That's so
The
good.
other
So good.
thing is I've talked about protection. People who protect their source of income. It gives them that peace of thinking straight. It takes away a lot of anxiety. It helps you to prepare for the future. You know that there's something you are excited about the future because you are not pressed for so many things.
True.
And I'm still going to lay some emphasis on protection because
Yeah.
sometimes people feel like when I'm ready, I will get it. Some people feel like when I'm ready, I will get it. Insurance is not a right, it's a privilege. You may think in 2 years' time, I will get it. You may not be insurable in 2 years' time. So, and the interesting thing about insurance is there is something for everyone. There is insurance plan in this country that will cost you $1 per day. There's insurance plan that can cost you just $2 per day. So you want to protect what matters so you can give yourself opportunity to dream and to focus on things that matter.
I
So
love that. Is that our second habit? Are you giving us the third?
second
Yeah.
habit.
Yeah.
And the third one is being in a circle of high achievers.
Mm.
So I always do this every year. I try to reshuffle my friends and I recruit new friends.
Please don't shuffle me out, though, Paul. Don't shuffle
No,
me out.
we are going up together.
Oh, yeah,
We are
continue.
so you want to be in the middle of people who are achieving good things
Mm.
because it's going to expand your thoughts. It's going to help you dream higher. When I started my podcast, one of the reasons why I started my podcast was I was in a casual conversation with someone that was saying that people of color cannot make six figures in Canada. Yeah, that was the same reaction I had. And because as at then, I already had everybody around me making six figures. And I was like, okay, people need to hear some good stories.
Yeah.
So you want to be in the midst of people who are dreaming, who want to make more money, who want to build wealth so that they can challenge you to build more. You don't want to be a local champion. So if you're already making 150K and everybody around you is making 120K, unconsciously, you're going to lose drive. You are going to lose drive. But when you recruit new friends, you are making 150K, everybody around you is making
Making,
250K,
yeah,
you know that there's more to achieve.
there's more. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Thank you.
So finally, think long term. Think long term. There's this law, the law of time perspective. And what that law says is the most successful individuals in a society, they consider the longest time when they are making their day-to-day activities. So like Lola has been talking about legacy. Now, Lola is probably sitting here thinking about 50 years from now. Chances are she won't be here 50 years or 60 years, but she's already thinking, my grandchildren, what's going to happen to them 50 years from now? When you have that kind of perspective in your everyday thinking, is really going to help you to expand your thoughts and prepare for a better future. And the moment you start thinking like that, you will see that you start attracting resources. Everything will just start falling in place just because you've expanded your thoughts.
You're thinking. That's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, one thing I appreciate about this conversation we're having is that everyone is saying much of interconnected things, that wealth is not just about earning, accumulating. It's about creating options. It's about creating that flexibility and the freedom to live, to work, to serve. Someone said, oh, I'll build a business, I'll travel. You know, it's about creating that freedom to serve in alignment with your values. But, we're going to get Paul to talk a little bit more about protection for just a little bit. I'm very mindful of time. The reality is that whatever we build, we must also protect, because protection, I know and I believe very strongly, is often the most overlooked pillar of financial wellness. Paul said something about how insurance is actually a luxury. I can tell you for free that there are some clients that I have had, even as a financial advisor, that I try to get an insurance policy or a protection policy for them, but due to either their age or their health or lack of it, they're actually uninsurable. That is, the insurance company is like, oh no, I'm so sorry, I cannot take that risk. Or sometimes they are insurable, but with 3 to 4 times the amount of premium that it would take on a normal regular client. So insurance can actually be a luxury. There are times when you think you'll be ready for it, or you think you will be ready for it later, but that later when you want it, God forbid, a person is not insurable, perhaps maybe due to health, or you're now too old for the or you're now older and you're paying higher because of your age, because the insurance company does not want to take that risk. It's so important. People think about earning, saving, investing. These are all very good. But few people pause and ask, what if life doesn't go according to plan? Paul was giving us a description about if you go by road or if you go by air. Life happens. Unexpected illnesses, loss, transitions. I can tell you for free because I've experienced it with my dad. I've experienced it with my mom. It was not planned. It was not expected. But protection is not about fear. It's about preparation. It's about preparation. So, Paul, let me ask you, why, even though we've emphasized it, but I want you to bring it out in big, bold, plain terms. Why is protection a foundational part of your financial wellness?
Yeah. So let me start by saying I understand that as immigrants, I'm assuming that most of us on this call are from this community. Life insurance conversation is not an easy one, because we always, I don't know, for some reason, we just don't want to believe that we won't be here forever. And if you live in this part of the world, it is just fair for you, if you are insurable, to get insurance in place. If you had not moved from your country, maybe it will not be as sacrosanct as it is in this part of the world, because the Americans, the Canadians, they also try their best to get life insurance. Now, let me tell you why it's important. In a country like Canada, you pay taxes from cradle to grave. Sometimes when you pass away, they don't even let you rest in peace. You see that rest in peace they put? It's how you've planned your house. You may not rest in peace because your kids or your family members may have to continue paying for probate taxes. You worked all hard while you were alive, and you're on your way to wherever you are going to. You don't know. I'm sorry, but you must understand that you have to put this in place. So, for example, in Canada, we just filed our taxes. Now, let me shock you guys. If somebody that passed away, let's say somebody passed away February 2025, there is a chance that this year that we're filing our taxes, he also will need to file his tax, the dead person, because he worked for 60 days before passing. Now, when you pass away in Canada, all your assets are frozen. Everything gets frozen. It passes through probate tax, it passes through probate courts. They now calculate and they assume, the assumption is you must have sold all your assets a day before passing. It sounds stupid, but that's the expectation of the government. Like, you are going to die tomorrow, you are expected to sell all your properties today and take the capital gains and give the government their share. But of course, there are very few people that will have that privilege to know when they are passing. So you've worked so hard, you've built wealth. At the point of passing, let's say this person is Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith has worked so hard, he passes away at the age of 65. They calculate his net worth is about maybe $3 million. That $3 million doesn't get to the family right away. Everything goes through probate court. Now, if his investment, his capital was 1.5 million, like his real sweat, maybe he bought a house 20 years ago, what he invested was actually 1.5 million, and the profit is 1.5 million, the government will assume that that day of passing, he cashed out $1.5 million profit. And in Canada, there's a level of income you make that you start paying over 50% in taxes. So there's a chance that half of that will go back to the government. Now, if you have life insurance, it doesn't mean that that money will not go to the government. It will still go. The only thing is life insurance is one of those assets that doesn't go through probate court. So when life insurance payout is benefit gets paid to the family, it gets paid in cash, emphasis on cash. It gets paid in cash. Let's assume that Mr. Smith had $2 million life insurance. The family gets $2 million right away, not paying a dime in taxes. In fact, the way they will mourn will be different. There's happy money and there's sorrowful money. In a country like Canada, where bills don't allow people to sleep well, if you lose a loved one and you hear that they are paying you $2 million, you're going to pray for the dead. Now, there's a story I'm going to share. I've been in this business for almost 5 years, but I've never had to give a claim to any of my clients. To God be the glory. But somebody passed away in our community. One of my business partners in Ottawa helped the person with life insurance. 6 months to passing, because she was an elderly woman, she was 45. 6 months to passing, she reached out to that my partner and said, this life insurance I'm even paying money for, I think I want to stop it. But he was able to convince her not to stop it. And she traveled to Toronto and she had a crash and she passed. She only had 200K coverage. So I really monitored that. I monitored that process because I wanted to be sure that these people actually pay. So when the money came, the only thing my partner said was, I should have convinced her to take more. I wish I had convinced her to take more. When we took the check to the family, the kids, they were mourning, of course, because they just lost their mom. But I could see the lights when we gave them a check of $200,000. Now, that wasn't enough, but that will change the story for those children. So life insurance, I cannot overemphasize the importance of life insurance. It is one of the cheapest ways to build generational wealth for your family. We've come to this part of the world. We are working day and night to make life easy for our kids. It is just fair that if anything goes wrong, they get more money and they can live a better life.
Fantastic.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It's fundamental. You're trying to tell us that it is at the very heart and foundation of wealth building. It is at the heart of that legacy building that Lola Wealth was talking about. And you even explained some more that you're thinking about your children, you're thinking about your generation on board. I'm thinking about my grandkids. I'm thinking about, Andre's children or, people that will come after me, I want to be able to set them up for life, right? And so that stands out to me in the sense that protection, insurance is not pessimistic. Even though we don't like to hear the stories of, oh, what if this happens, what if that happens, right? We don't want to think about it. It is the foundation of wealth building. Protection is the foundation. In fact, I always say when I'm talking to couples, I say that for me, oh, that's my love language. That's the proof that Paul loves his wife. That's the proof that Paul's wife loves him, to have protection on each of them. So as an example, I use my husband and myself as an example. The fact that my husband loves me is if he pays consistently his premium for his protection, because what if something happens to him? He has to be thinking about me. Vice versa. It is responsible. It's an act of care. It is one of the ways that we actually love our families well. And so when we bring together mindset, wealth, protection, as we're talking, that's when we create a much healthier financial foundation. I want to bring everything together, and I want to ask my people that are on this sort of like panel, a lot of people, they've heard financial information all around. They've seen it in pockets, they've seen it maybe on social media, they've seen it at a webinar, they've seen it at a seminar, they've seen it at an event, but sometimes we don't have a roadmap, like clarity. How do we go? How do we go? How is it be like from point A to point B? So I want to ask both Lola and Paul, and as summarized and succinct as possible, what is the first thing someone needs to understand about their finances before they make any major decisions? Because we've talked about different things. We talk about saving, investing, protection, spending, budgeting, all those things. We've talked about it a lot. But what is the very first thing, in your opinion? Paul, you may be different from Lola. What is that first thing someone needs to understand about their finances before they make any major decisions? Go ahead, Lola, please.
Okay. Yes, I raised my hand. I'm going to come to your question, but I
Okay.
quickly want to add on what Paul said about
Yes,
the
please.
life insurance, because there are some people on this call or might be watching this later that will say that, okay, what if, because I'm not married and I don't have kids, why should I have life insurance, right? Even some people that are even married and have kids, they are of the opinion that I'm not going to be putting my money and somebody will eat it by the time I'm gone. Do you know there are some people like that? Yes. We have so many people that are like, my own heart sweats. I will not be working for some people, what I just want to nail on is what Paul talked about, and I want to say it, irrespective of where you are in the part of the world, there will be disability insurance, there will be critical chronic insurance that you can have, in addition to life insurance for yourself while you are alive. So having a rethinking or unlearning about life insurance, that it's only death that happens. So we have to relearn that it's not only death that happens. It's constant. One thing that is constant is the death. But between life and death, life happens, right? How do I protect what I have worked for? That's your greatest asset, which is you. You are protecting your ability to make money. Because if you cannot go to work tomorrow, guess what? Your bills are not going to pay. You're not going to get paid. So having that protection, disability, go and research and think and look for what will protect your greatest asset, which is you, in the course of why you are alive, not even when you are dead, right? So I just wanted to drive that home more so that some people know that there are options. It's information. So right now you are getting this information, you take it and you go work with it, which now comes to what you talked about in TFA. It's about all the things we've talked about today. Sometimes it might look like, oh, so many things, my head is now up and all of that. The first thing I will want you to do is decide. Decision is the first thing, because when you get that decision, it's going to help you with clarity. My own is always about clarity. If you want to do anything, want to get into fire, want to get into life insurance, want to get into mindset, soul set, all of these things, Fumi is saying, it's about clarity. What do I want? What do I own? What do I have? Getting your income, your expenses, clarity, but you have to decide. So one thing I would say, which is joined together, is decision plus clarity. Getting clear on what is coming in, what is going out. That alone in itself is like you are more than 50% of people that don't do that, right?
That's
So
so
let me
true.
leave it there.
That's a very, very good one. So what you're saying is the decision and the clarity. Decision that is, oh, you want to do something about it, but the clarity to know this is what I even have. This is the money that is coming in. So sometimes, even when I'm having conversations with regards to emotional or mental wellness, I say self-awareness is the very first step. And what you are emphasizing, Lola, is money awareness or awareness of the assets, the money, the income that you actually have is also a first step when it comes to making a sound financial decision. That's a really good one. Thank you so much. Paul, what do you think? Do you agree with her?
Yes, I do. Because if you don't decide that you want to get somewhere, you won't get there. If sometimes you even miss it. So and I agree completely with her. You have to decide if you want to get to this point. So it will help you to know all the resources you need to get there.
That's true. That's true.
But to add to that, I would say for anyone listening to me, I'm assuming that you are, apart from somebody joining from Port Harcourt,
Or the
which is,
UK. Someone is here from the UK.
yeah, you live in one of the countries, one of the richest countries in the world, whether you are in the US or in the UK or you are in Canada, and you probably left because you want to build wealth for yourself. Now, God has opened that opportunity for you. You found yourself here. You should not stop dreaming. The fact that you've landed there doesn't mean that it's like you trying to get a license to practice something, now thinking that now that you have the license, you will be rich. No, you have to put in the work. You've gotten to this part of the world. It will be disappointing for you that you are not able to maximize the wealth in this part of the world. Now, luckily for you, technology, internet has democratized opportunities. Lola has talked so much about how you can maximize your skills and attract wealth to yourself. So even if you are listening from Port Harcourt, if you've not found yourself in this part of the world, you can make money from this part of the world. So nothing is stopping you anymore. We've seen people that are not as smart as you are doing funny things on TikTok, on Instagram, and commanding the kind of money that you won't even believe. Now, how about you that you've got so much to give the world? So, as you go to bed this night, do an exercise. Find your strength. What can you sell? If you need someone to guide you, there's Fumi, there's Lola Wealth. Lola should be giving us wealth now. Lola, you've been doing giveaway for us. You've got so much wealth. So, decide and take action. Decide and take action.
That's so good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Then, so number one step is awareness. We've agreed that. All of us have agreed that. Number two step is stability. So there are two major things that I believe help us with stability. It would be budgeting and healthy money management. I would love to hear from you guys how you feel both of them can work together for our financial wellness, budgeting and healthy money management. What do you guys think? Lola,
Okay.
you want to go or Paul?
Yes, I can go.
Yeah.
So I have a different school of thought when it comes to budgeting. And I don't teach my client budgeting. I teach forecasting, right? Because budgeting constrain you. Immediately I hear budgeting, it's about I can't do what I want to do. So it's a mindset thing as well. And remember, what you think is how you even do all your stuff. So I teach them forecast. You forecast, you look at what are the things that you are going to be. And guess what? Most times, what you forecast Your income cannot carry it. So your question is budgeting and mindset,
Healthy money management. Healthy money
healthy
management.
money management. So
Yeah.
yes, so it's still forecasting, it's still part of you, and you still come back to that dreaming because you have to dream bigger. Budgeting to me, in my own understanding, is still constraining. So healthy budget manage, healthy money
Money
management, and
management.
all
Yeah.
of that comes from, what do I want? What do I want? My reality and the truth. The truth is, this is what God has said concerning me. The truth is, I have abundance myself. The truth, and it might not look like point A, point B, point C for some people, but guess what? It is doing something in your mind. When I look at what my reality is right now, I have 3 kids. I have a husband. My kids are going to swimming class, going to this lesson, going to piano lesson. I have expenses. When I list them, I have mortgages. List all of them like this, and I know that this is what is coming in. Guess what? There is no even need for budgeting because you already know what is coming, right? So what I always tell my own people is this: even if you have more, right, dedicate like a particular credit card for this is my expenses. And then that is where we now come into like, okay, you have to establish another stream of income, which is you having business or as a business owner or self-employed. Have a card or credit card for that and use one credit card for some, for just one thing. So that at the end of the month, you look at how much you spend. That budgeting you talk about, okay, my expenses in a month is 5,000. This month I spent 6,000. So next month I'm going to do better. Or what are the things I can, do here or do here? So having like a system. And if you're somebody that wants to be writing down, good luck. If you want to use Excel sheet, great. But using that system, because you already have credit card or OPay or all of those things that will give you your statement of what you have spent in a month. You use that to compare what you actually want or what you desire. In fact, when you look into your statement, it will tell you where your heart is, where your money is going. Do you see? That is my own simple way. Instead of telling people, oh, download Money Mint, download this, download that, and use it to track. Sometimes it's overwhelming and it's very, I will just be truthful. Even going back to Excel, sometimes it can be draining. So the simple way is try and manage one card or 2 cards and use that. Separate your business from personal. If you don't have business, fine. Use one, maybe your credit or a particular credit card. Use it on one. If you have points, if you have cashback, all of those things. Just look at the best way for you to analyze it every month and then improve on that.
Okay, so what you're telling us is that for some people that are not really, either they're not good at budgeting or they could get overwhelmed with planning and constraining themselves within a certain amount. A good first step would be to analyze what they already spend on a regular basis. That's where you'll be able to see where your money is going. And perhaps with that, you can now see, like Mr. Paul said, is 50% going to my expenses, like my fundamentals, or am I spending, instead of the 20% for enjoying my good life, I use all of 50% to flange and do baby girl, right? So it's really, really very interesting. It's like it's two sides of the same coin. But the
Sorry,
point,
sorry, let me quickly say something. In
yeah,
fact, there are some banks when you print that thing, it will give you like a chart of, how much spending of maybe
yes, what did you
your,
spend on this? What did you spend on that? Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes. I like that. So we're taking it from two sides. That's the point I'm trying to bring. And that's why I really love this discussion. It's very rich. We're taking it from two sides. Either it could be you're looking at it after the fact, or you planned and prepared for it. But what is very important is that you are intentional, guys. What is important is that you're intentional. If you plan for it, stay within your budget as much as you can. If you are looking at it after the fact, the next month, you see that, okay, you spent so amount on this thing, then you are asking yourself, where can I cut? What can I reduce? What can I increase on this side? What can I reduce on this side? Another thing or step with regards to your financial decisions is preparedness. And I know we've just discussed, Paul has helped us tear apart emergency funds. He said, and I'm expanding the bandwidth or the window. He said 6 to 12 months of your income. You can start to aim that, okay, I'm earning 5,000 per month. How can I want to create a nest egg of an emergency fund. How can I get or set aside 60,000? That is 12 months of my income. But gradually, obviously, it's not immediately. That's very important. That is emergency preparation, and it's very important. We talked about how people lose their jobs, things happen, you have to travel back home, all kinds of things happen. Now, how much peace of mind can that preparation create for you? Lola, can you share with us from your personal experience how much that peace of mind gives you? Because I'm always really looking at money from a mind perspective. Is it possible? Do you have any personal examples to share with us, maybe where there was an emergency and for some reason you were prepared, or there was an emergency and you were not prepared?
Oh, yeah. So I would say the mindset is very important. So I have both example, but the one that I think I would like to share, which is like more real, is when I retired from corporate at 40. And because I did that, it was in the middle of summer, it was July, right? I bow and I say, you know what, I'm done with corporate. And that was intentional because I don't know if I share my story in the beginning, but at 35, I started making ways. I started having this, even though right now I call it blueprint, but then it wasn't blueprint because I was just like, I shared my story around when my mom had a triplet. Since 8 years old, I started selling things, right? By the time I turned 20 something, I had millions in Naira then because I was selling. So when I came here, my mind has been into what can I do? But because of the kind of visa you have, you cannot do some things because I was on work visa. Guess what? That peace of mind, you say, and some people can relate because until you have either your permanent residency and all of that, all this peace of mind, everything, because you don't even know what will happen in the next moment. When your job is tied to you staying in a country, there is no peace of mind. But guess what? I still went ahead and I used this is not popular. This is not the popular route because people tell you, oh, invest in stock, invest in ETF, invest in all of those things, right? And then I was like, even if they ask me to be going back to my home country, guess what? All of those things is not going to make money. So let me utilize the cash value that is going to be growing in life insurance. I don't know anything about it, but I trusted the person that told me, right? And I went for it. When I retired from corporate and I need to leave Seattle is in Washington State, come down to Texas, right? For 4 months, I wasn't doing anything. That budget you talk about, guess what? It was fluctuating because now in my head, there used to be constantly every 2 weeks, income coming in. But that is going to cease. I have to adjust myself. I went into my cash value insurance to go get money, about 10K, to start a business here in Texas. Do you see? That is me preparing because even then, I don't know what I was doing. Seriously, I don't know if they will ask me to go or not, but I did it in faith. So, do you see? And I started putting money aside for the raining day. So I got the money, I registered my business. That is where I have Lola Wealth LLC. I have Lola Wealth Financials. Do you see? So, and the 3 businesses I registered before I came here, I had to close them because now it's a different state. What am I saying is this: whatsoever emergency that might come, what you have, make sure that it is liquid enough that you can have access to it. And that is what creates the peace of mind, in my own opinion.
That's so true. That's interesting. That's so interesting. We've been talking a lot about protection. We've spoken about awareness. We've spoken about being prepared. I want to let everyone know, just to pull it all together, that a healthy financial foundation includes your mindset, first of all. Then it includes your awareness of what is coming in, what is going out, what you actually have. A healthy financial foundation also includes emergency funds. A lot of the 3 of us have spoken about this. Protection strategies. We've talked about critical illness, chronic illness, disability insurance, and life insurance. No matter your budget, you can actually protect yourself in all of these areas. They are so important, and all three of us are licensed to help you with that. A healthy financial foundation also includes managing your debt. This one, I'm not sure we have spoken about. A number of us are in debt. A number of us may be biting more than we can chew, maybe with the mortgage or with credit card or with student loans or with line of credit. We can help you out with debt management. There's not a lot of peace of mind when you know that you are owing someone or you're owing a large amount of money. This is so important, and it is a part of your financial foundation. Then, when all this has been taken care of, you think about investment planning, you think about retirement preparation, and you think about your legacy. These are all so important. None of us can overemphasize it. It's a cocktail, it's a mix. It's a mix, but you need to take it step by step by step. Now, I want to ask Paul, what would it look like for you to be ready to retire today? So this is like future planning. What does being ready for retirement? I know normally this question could even go to Lola, but I want to hear a little bit of a mix of your perspective, Paul. What would it look like to be ready to retire today?
Yeah, it's an interesting question and it can be tricky, but we go back to where we started from, which is financial independence. Now, for me, and I'm going to say what I want for myself. I'm not going to retire. I will continue to impact lives until my last breath. But what I'm not going to do is I will not be looking to make money to pay my bills. I want to achieve financial independence as quick as I can so that I can have all the time to impact a lot of lives. So retirement, as far as I'm concerned, is the same thing as financial independence that Lola Wealth defined. So the moment you are able to have enough assets that will take care of your bills for the rest of your life, you are good to retire. That is retirement for me.
For you. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Lola, I feel like you're on the same page.
I'll quickly share something. Retirement is not about you are retiring to do nothing, right?
Good.
Retirement
Good.
is about retiring from obligation. I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. I want to do what fulfills me, right? Do you see? That is the true meaning when it comes to financial independence. And we talk about the option, we talk about so many things. So whatsoever you define by yourself for yourself, that is what the true meaning of retirement means to you. Do you know that when I told myself this is what true retirement or true financial independence means to me, that was when I take my bow and came out of corporate. But by the time I'm out, guess what? My dream came big and I was like, what was I doing when I decided to say I don't want to, work anymore? Because I'm like, this money is even still small. And you know what? One mistake, because I have one rental property and I was just like, okay, I will just be getting cash flow from it. Guess what? The tenant did bad. The house went and I had to sell the house in a shortage. Like I lost money on that.
At a loss, yes.
At a loss. So sometimes we plan, right? But that true retirement is when you don't have to, and then you are not obliged. That obligation is the one that remove it from like, okay, I can do whatever I want to do.
I love it. So retirement is not retirement from work in itself. It's not even retirement from making impact, as Paul said. It's retirement from obligation. That compulsion that somebody is holding your neck that if you don't do this, then we'll not pay you. Correct? I love that. I love that. I would like, before we go to, I know someone had a very powerful question that Lola Wealth is going to answer, and it's about wills and having a power of attorney. She's going to share from, let's say, the US perspective. Paul can also share from the Canadian perspective, but I would like each of you to answer one final question. Imagine someone leaves this blueprint webinar and takes only one action within the next 7 days. I say it again. Imagine someone leaves this webinar and takes only one action in the next 7 days. What is that one action you would encourage them to take?
Okay.
That would be like jam question, Abby.
Because this one, you restrict me, it's restricting
One,
us
just
to
one, just one. Let's say the person doesn't have any other time to do any other thing. What is one thing they should do?
I will still go back to that decision. Make the decision to be intentional. Be intentional about conversation today and do something about it. Take one thing from all the things we talked about today and do it. Me,
Good.
I'm taking one thing that, we all talk about because I learned from mindset perspective. I'm taking one thing and I'm deciding, put it on your calendar. Go do it, sit with it, think about it. And that's what it will be for me.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah, so I'm saying something very different. I would say to someone listening to me that wealth building in North America is easier when you build it with your spouse. So if you are a married person, if you are a married man coming from Nigeria or wherever, there's a chance that you've not even had a serious conversation about money with your spouse because our culture is different. In Nigeria, a typical man believes that I will do everything. I will make all the money. Take care of the school fees. I do all that. And that prevents us from having intimate conversations about money with our spouses or with our wives. But it's not going to work here. It is not going to work. And sometimes men also feel like because they make the money, they understand how to spend and manage the money. That's not always true. You you might be a man making a lot of money, but your wife might be the person that will understand how to manage money. And there's nothing wrong if she helps you to manage that money because in Canada, the journey of building wealth, as far as I'm concerned, is easier if you and your spouse are able to work together. So, as a man, be vulnerable, be open-minded, and speak to your wife about money. As a woman, you should also be willing to support your spouse. This time, this is Canada. Don't expect that he's going to be the one to pay all the bills. Support your spouse, build wealth together. You can achieve a lot together in a very short while.
That's a
Thank
very
you.
good one. Thank you. You brought another angle, actually. I really love this angle. I was at an event some weeks ago, and the spouse actually said that she doesn't even know what a bill looks like. In this Canada, she actually said that she does not know what a bill looks like, that her husband takes care of everything. That happens. That could be still the traditional way. However, in North America, it usually is a two-income household. Usually, especially when there are a lot of bills, or even just like from a sense of fulfillment and contribution. Remember when we talked at the very beginning, we talked about how money affects relationships, right? And when we were talking about, oh, is it communication that is the very first thing? And then is it money that is the next thing? We said actually money even trumps communication in a marriage or in a life partnership. It is so important to talk about money. So thank you very much, Paul, for this for that angle that the angle that you shared. The one thing that I have learned over the years is that wellness is not about perfection. It is about intentionality. The same is true with your finances. You don't have to know everything. People listening to me, you don't have to have everything figured out, but you do need a plan. You do need to start. And that is where financial wellness is ultimately about. I hope that you've really learned a lot. Everyone has learned a lot. I'm going to now ask Lola Wealth to answer the conversation around a will and a lasting power of attorney. You know, when Paul was emphasizing the need for protection, he talked about probate. He talked about the fact that the government will go into a dead person's assets and take what is theirs first before they give the rest or allow the rest to go to the beneficiaries of that dead person. Before Lola Well talks, especially from the US perspective, I can even speak because my dad passed on 3 years ago. My God, it's almost 3 years complete now. Amazing. So he passed on in 2023, and I can tell you for free that we had to go through probate, even in Nigeria. So it's not something that is new. And it's not something that is only specific to North America. It happens all over the world. The most important thing is, as a human being, even if you were single, even if you are married, even if you don't have children or you have children, whatever your status is, protection and intentional legacy planning is so important. And it helps you to meander and look at probates. And that's where we're going to be talking about wills and having a power of attorney. These things are very important. And just to emphasize that all three of us, Lola, Paul, and I, we are licensed to help our clients with this kind of planning. So, Lola, please could you talk to us about, from the North American side, the importance of having a will and an active power of attorney? And then, Paul, please do the same thing once Lola is done.
All right. Thank you. So the person that asked this question, she's actually from UK. So, and I believe it's still the same thing, which I would say go do more research on what it is in your own geographical place. But I would say will and plan and trust is not the same. Will is contestable anywhere. Will is still contestable. Will is good, but having a trust, and when you cannot have a trust without having power of attorney for finance, for health, and for one other thing. So then even for guidance for kids, for people that have kids, do you see? These are very powerful. Don't think about death. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So whenever we are thinking, because we are African in diaspora, we are immigrant, we are whatsoever, we are not where we, we migrated and all of that. But even if you are in Nigeria or wherever you are, working hard, doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and allowing that to go to the government, that means you do not even love yourself. No matter what, you have people that you love and that loves you. So the least we want to do is for us to have that plan. As a certified estate planner, I would say, it's you just go, at least here in US, let me talk here, putting all your stuff together, what trust is, putting everything you own, your house, your accounts, savings account, checking account, retirement account, rental, all the things you have, you put them in a document and you get an attorney, notarize it. These are the things I want to happen when I cannot make decision based on health, when I cannot make decision based on my health and I cannot give directives when it comes to finances. These are the things. You just have to make the statement, you notarize it, and then guess what? It is powerful over will, right? And when you have that, whatsoever you say, even if you have kids, you assign guardians for your kids. And like, oh, what I have, because all the things you work for, including the insurance, is going to go there because you have beneficiaries, right? Your beneficiaries, your next of kin, I don't know if you use next of kin, and all of that. This is what I want. By the time I pass, or by the time I cannot make this decision, these are the things I want. Guess what? This is what the Bible talked about when it say, you as a man, you put a proper plan together for your family, for your home. You plan for your home. So that is the planning, because now that we are okay, we are in our consciousness, we can make that decision, putting it and writing it down. So the difference between will, trust, and what's the third one? Will, trust, and power of attorney is will is just you saying this is your decision, this is your wish when I go pass away. And that is contestable. Families can start to fight. like, no, I'm the one that did this and this. But if you have a trust, all the things you have will not go through probate. So it is more of like you made decision while you are and you legalize it. That document is a legacy. Another thing you have to do, you have to fund that trust because trust is just like a container. Putting life insurance into it that has money is you funding it. Putting all your account into it is you funding that, right? If you are in US, you have your home, right? Turn that the deed of your home, record it, put it inside your trust. These are ways where all the things you've worked for your life is not going to go to the government through probate. I hope that helps. And of course, we can talk more on this because it could be complicated, it could be complex. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. I know that for people in the US, they're going to reach out for more information with you if they're not as clear. I was actually waiting for Paul to talk to us, but it looks like he's also dropped a link in the chat. So, Paul, do you want to speak a little bit about wills, trusts, etc.?
Yeah, I think Lola has done justice to the question.
Sure.
And if you are a parent in this part of the world, it's just fair for you to have estate planning in place. I know the conversation may be very tough, but it's just fair to have it in place because think about it. If something goes wrong, you know that your kids, they won't even give them to your sibling. The government will not give your kids, if you have kids who are maybe less than
Under 18.
18,
Yes.
just imagine 8 and 6, and
Yes.
something goes wrong. And meanwhile, you have a sibling in this country that you would like them to take care of your kids if something goes wrong.
Mhm.
Without power of attorney and all that, the government may decide that they will take care of them.
Okay.
So it's good to have that conversation. Look for an estate planning lawyer if you don't have one. If you can speak to Lola Wealth if you're in the US, and you can speak to Fumi. We can connect you or we can help you with it.
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah,
correct. So I know that for some people, they're not sure what are the distinctions. In Canada, a will and a trust and a power of attorney, they're all very important estate planning tools, but they serve different purposes. So think
correct.
about it like this. A will distributes your assets after death. It takes effect after death. For a power of attorney, it allows someone to make decisions on your behalf when you are unable to, and it takes effect. Let's say the person is still alive, but something happened to them, maybe just as Lola described, they cannot make decisions, right? That's what power of attorney does. And then trust holds and manages your assets for your beneficiaries according to your instructions. That could take effect either during your lifetime or after death. So a trust, like she said, is like a container holding and managing your assets for your beneficiaries according to the way you want it. I really would love if some of us still have some questions, because I want to I'm very mindful of time. We started 2 hours ago, almost exactly 2 hours ago. I want to be able to round up like right about now. So much knowledge, the financial wellness blueprint 2.0, please. I love that. Thank you, HP. Adiola says, what if you don't have anybody here as family and you want to do a trust? What do you do?
I can take that. I
Yes.
think the moment to start having that conversation with a licensed professional is going to be like a probing conversation. You will find someone that you can trust.
Yes. Yes. It could be
Just start the conversation. It
yes, a
could be a close
family,
friend.
friend. Yes, exactly. 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 So I think to myself, if I don't have a sibling or yes, family, but I want to do trust, who can I? So think about it even then. So guys, it has been truly time well spent, just like Darlene has said. I want us to follow us on social. Lola Wealth has dropped her socials. Paul has dropped his socials. You can be sure that I will be sending an email to everyone who was here at the webinar and those that will catch the replay. We are really, really excited. Most likely, we will do Financial Wellness 2.0 if Lola and Paul they are able to make space in their busy schedules. But you guys remember that wealth building, protection, all this about money is about your mindset, first of all. How do you look at money? What do you think about when you think about money? Is it a tool? Is it an aid? Is it something you spend? Is it something you don't have enough of? Think about it like a resource. Think of money like a resource. Some of us in the faith will say money is the vehicle through which the gospel flows. I know you guys know that what's it called, that saying in the Yoruba parlance. But the point is, wealth and money as a whole is a tool. Lola has dropped her Instagram. I need to do the same before we go. Who else is gonna drop? Paul, please drop your Instagram if you have already, or if you haven't, please drop your Instagram. What I will drop on my own end is what's the word? A link for you to book a free. Yes, we have LinkedIn. We have LinkedIn. We have LinkedIn. A link for you to book a free financial consultation. All of us, all three of us, are licensed to help you with your finances. If you live in the US, or if you live in Canada, the three of us are licensed to help you. So if maybe for some reason you joined and it was not through any one of our socials, maybe someone just invited you to this, please go ahead and book consultations with us. I'm looking for my link so I can share this with you. That's my LinkedIn. And in order for us to continue the conversation, I'm also putting that, yes, that my Calendly for consultation. Connect TV. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I've dropped that in the chat. 30-minute connection with me. Lola Wealth has done the same thing. So we really look forward to continuing this conversation. Please expect our emails. Thank you very much to those of us that have stayed till the end. You guys are amazing. Yes, 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 yes. And for sure, we will let you guys know if we're having a when we're having a 2.0, maybe sometime around the fall, but of course, based on the schedules of the amazing Paul, the amazing Lola Wealth. You guys were lovely. My co-hosts. Thank you. Thank you to the three of you. The three of us. I'm thanking myself too. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. This has been a beautiful 2 hours. I really appreciate everyone. And for those of us encouraging us in the chat, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. We will see you soon, and expect our follow-up emails. God bless you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you
Thank you,
for having
everyone.
Thank
us.
God
you.
bless
And
Thank
you.
thank
you.
you, Fumi,
Bye.
for doing this. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
me.
Thank
May
you.
God continue to
Thank
strengthen you.
you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.